Hi all. It is December 6th, I believe, and I just wanted to give you a proper video of what we've done. We had planned on hiring plasterers to do the drywall and the plastering for the kitchen because it's quite a time suck and it's a big pain in the ass and very awkward. But he did not come through. And so we decided, hey, we'll just do absolutely everything in this kitchen ourselves. So we have 4 foot by 8 foot sections of, this is 1/2 inch ultralight sheetrock. It's the standard that we got at Home Depot. And I believe we have an 1.25 inch drywall screws, also standard. We ended up getting a few items specifically for drywalling, namely this gigantic monstrosity. It's only less than $200 at Harbor Freight. It is a drywall hoist and it is amazing. As you can see on this side, and there's another one right there. These two things hold the drywall sheet and it can crane so that it's leaning back, or it can be up like it is here so that you can put the sheet here, smush it against the wall, crane it up to exactly where you need it to be craned to, and you don't have to lift it and hold it perfectly while you're placing in the screws. As you can imagine, this is going to be the most helpful for the ceilings, which is the only part of the drywall we have not yet done. But I'll tell you why we haven't done that in a moment. So far, let's see, we got a drywall, drywall screwdriver. It is rigid. They also have a DeWalt one, which is about $50 more, but hey, we're not drywallers, so we got the basic one. It's turned out really well. It's a specific drywall screwdriver where when you're drilling in the screws in the drywall, it works on a pressurized situation where you're driving it in, and at a certain point the screwdriver will stop turning the screw specifically so that it doesn't break through the drywall, and it stops it just about where it's supposed to, or very, very close to where it should. So we bought this specifically for the drywalling project. The other thing that we have bought is called a RotoZip. It is a routering type tool, also not that expensive, but is specifically absolutely invaluable for doing all of these cutouts that we've had to do for outlets. For the that hole with the loose wire is for our under cabinet light, and there's also one on this side as well for the under cabinet lighting on that side. That's going to be hardwired under cabinet lighting. But as you can see, the routering for this window, the routering for the outlets, and for any of these little things like this lead pipe, like I told you, I think the last video, it has to have a little soffit made. There's a little soffit that's going to have to be made for the second floor drain as well. And then the rest of it is now, as you can see, enclosed in the wall. And then there's a little bump out here, as we expected. No big deal. So that's what we've done in terms of the equipment that we bought. Everything else that we have had in terms of the equipment, we already own because we have a pretty decent size workshop of tools, like, you know, basic screwdrivers, utility knives, and things like that. We did buy a brand new drywall T-square, which you'll need for measuring out specific precisely perpendicular edges, and then scoring the drywall and breaking it. We did most of the information, the resource data mining, from Home Depot's website, regular random private websites, and thefamilyhandyman.com, a magazine subscription that has a lot of really good articles specifically on how to install DIY drywall and taping. We haven't gotten to the taping, but we're going to do that today. So as you can see, this is now the chimney. I had to remove the metal attachment that was right here. We used a metal grinder, which we own already. I believe, I do not know where it is. There it is. Just a regular hand DeWalt metal grinder that I painstakingly ground the metal corner, old metal 1930s corner off of this plaster drywall so that it could be flush. This one's new. This is the old plaster and the new drywall. And as you can see, we actually have kept the beadboard and everything intact because why not? We don't have to remove it. And then these were 4x8 sheets. These are 9-foot tall ceilings. So we have a 1-foot section across the entirety of the room. It actually looks like a room now, so that's awesome. We still have to do a little bump out for that ceiling. But here's the pass-through. It actually looks like a pass-through. Let me step back a little bit so you can see the actual whole wall. And the yellow wire that is a dedicated line. The yellow is for dedicated lines in electrician speak, I believe. And that is for the range hood. So that's just popping out there. And this little outlet that's kind of special here is for the stove. That is going to be on the countertop as an outlet on that countertop. And then an outlet on this countertop before the cabinets that are on this side. And like I said, these second floor water pipes are now in the wall, thankfully. Little bit of handiwork for this window, and then as you can see, this casing has all been broken off, and there's a little bit of lip here. The old molding will go back over this afterwards, so all of that will be covered up, as will this particular joints in this wall. And I think that's it. We have the special little outlet down there for the fridge still, and we have yet to do this little strip, but that'll take a hot second and then we're done. And the only drywall left to do is to do the bump out of this beam here. And I think this beam will not have to be built out, because what we are doing now that I'm at the ceiling is we have found out that the walls, or rather the ceilings between the second and first floors, and well, all of the between all of the floors, among all of them, there is a distinct lack of soundproofing, and there's no insulation in the house, so we can all hear everyone else, and these are tenants of ours and not our family, so we'd like everybody to have their own privacy. So what we're gonna do is make this real even. There's a little bit of padding that needs to be put there, and by padding I mean just a piece of extra drywall that we're going to put there, an extra piece of drywall that we're going to put here, put everything at the same level. And then what we're going to do is a specific soundproofing technique using drywall and green glue. It's a specific product called green glue noise proofing compound. I don't have the bucket in here, but we ordered a 5-pound pail of soundproofing. We have the gigantic glue gun that goes with it. The gun itself was about, it was expensive on Amazon. It was $68 on Amazon. It was $40 through ISOSound or ISOStore.com. We ended up getting it through Amazon just because of the shipping ease through our Prime membership. And then the 5-gallon pail of green glue noise proofing compound was, I believe it was about $200 for one pail. We'll end up having, I think maybe it was even more than that, $250. We'll end up having to do at least 3 pails to do the entire apartment, but we just got one for now. We're gonna see. So what they say in terms of a really cheap, fairly effective way of dampening, self-dampening drywall is to take one full sheet of drywall, and then taking the glue applying it, taking a second piece of drywall, screwing them together, and then applying that to the ceiling. So that's what we're gonna do for this entire ceiling. So we're gonna do that assembly, double wall assembly on this part to bring the ceiling down. And then on this part where the ceiling is actually pretty nice and finished, we weren't gonna do anything with it. The drywall that we're gonna put here, we're just gonna put the drywall application of the glue on and then smush it against this ceiling, so there's only actually an extra single layer with the green glue smushed against this ceiling for this part of the kitchen. So that's what we're doing with soundproofing. We're gonna be doing that for the rest of the apartment eventually. And then as you saw, there was as you can see down there, we did end up putting insulation, mainly because it is minimally helpful for soundproofing in terms of just sound absorption versus soundproofing. I learned a lot about that just from, Google data mining. And so we decided to do that, and it helps with the draft as well. And I forgot I did not show you this side of the pass-through. So we have a little fiddliness that we have to do with evening out this this wall there. And here's the pass-through, and there's even more fiddliness up here. And this is the top part of what was the door that we've now framed in and does not exist anymore. But that's it. That's what we've done so far. Hopefully we'll be starting to tape and to mud today, and these floors are, I think, the only thing that we are not going to do completely ourselves. It's going to be about $850 for someone to come in here, do all of this patching that needs to be done right here, and finish them and seal them, and then we'll put ram board on them to protect them while we're doing the rest of it. But we're doing absolutely everything else ourselves, including hand building all of the cabinets, because we'd rather spend a couple $1,000s on a really awesome table saw instead of what would be, double or triple that for the cabinets that we'll put in this area. Only for the base cabinets, we're not building the uppers because we saved those. Or we might build some of the carcasses for the uppers, but we kept the doors, the glass panel doors. So we'll use those for the uppers. And then everything else we're gonna build ourselves. So thanks for watching. And on to the next part, taping and mudding of drywall. That's gonna be at least 3 or 4 days because you have to mud, dry, tape, dry, all of that. And so like all of this, we're just looking most of it up online through a number of different sources, and then taking what seems to be the most acceptable DIY way of doing whatever we've been doing. Plus the fact that Jared is very handy with some of this already, and it's working out. So thanks for watching. Bye.